okay. Yeah. But they love Bow Wow first, so I got braids. Then I seen that Ja Rule video.
I hear the music in the wind, blowing like a flute, his favorite instrument. And I follow the song wherever it takes me, and I end up by the lake.
Up until third grade, it's like I was already speaking English. And I just learned really quick. It just became my language in school and in Spanish at home. So I was so fluent. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I can speak English and I speak Spanish.
Reading has always been a big part of my life. And I just love how much libraries give back to the community.
It's an old saying that people say, right, if you stay ready, you don't have to
You ain't got to get ready.
So you know how the motto is. So that's what I was thinking. Like, let me get the master. I don't even know if I'm going to use it. And the funny part about that is I graduated in 2010 with my master's in education administration. I didn't even get my first AP job until Everman in 2018. I never even looked for it. I didn't even, it wasn't part of it. I just knew I needed it. So when the time came, I would be ready. That preparation that you talked about.
He's so good to me. Jesus befriended me. Through my nostrils, he put the wind in me.
What's going on, my good people, online community, extraordinary family? We are back for another powerful and insightful episode, Ordinary Conversation with Extraordinary People. I am your host, Willie Beeman. Got a special treat for you guys. I think we have a great speaker, a great poet that I'm getting ready to introduce. She was with us in her mocktails and music earlier this year, so if you missed it, shame on you. But without further ado, definitely want to introduce her. She is an accomplished poet, designer, model, and entrepreneur. 7-time award-winning performer with more than 25 years of experience. Featured on Good Morning Texas, CNN, All Day Poetry, Teen Vogue, Huffington Post, Essence Magazine, and many other national publications. Shares stages with elite artists such as Faith Evans, Raheem DeVaughn, Tank, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Tweet, Johnny Gill, and many more. But last but not least, she produces one of the most successful spoken word events in the DFW Metroplex. That is Flow, for the love of words. Online community, extraordinary family. Let's give a warm welcome to the one and only MasterPiece.
Who am I? A MasterPiece, a poet, a means, a source, a force. Even Mother Nature requests forbearance. I'm a literary oscillator of words, keeping things coherent. The apocalypse and the revolution, the juxtaposition of faith and science, a miraculously ordained experiment, an entire wave of brilliance that needs no circuits. I'm liquid earth in human form, flowing through the alleys of mental backyards. I'm a wild card, a no holds barred type of lyricist, but I hold bars. Call me a penitentiary. Pardon the deja vu, this looks like something we've already seen before, but I'm here because I got bodies without ever causing a scene. I am the erasure of past iniquities reappearing in permanent marker. I'm something like a barter system. By the time we exchange energies, you're going to have me on notifications. By the time everything is said and done, I'm martial law. Some say I'm a student of Marshall Mathers, wordplay and mathematics. When it comes to bars and beauty, I'm the baddest. Some say I'm a savage. I'm a pending patent, a double entendre waiting to happen. I'm a dope runner, born in the 80s, what's cracking? Hazel thrown so many bricks, I had to tell Griselda I'm the full package. I'm an unplanned pregnancy giving birth to metaphors. Pockets so deep I was born with an entire repertoire. By the time they cut the umbilical cord, they said she's been here before. I'm an oxymoron. A garden in winter, a blaze, even the most faint ember. I am a product of pain, a masterpiece created from a world of hurt. Pen dipped in gold, I need an Oscar. This pain has been nominated too many times. Call me Susan Lucci. Denzel in Training Day, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. I'm a product of pain, a Dora Milaje of sorts. I'm snatching my wig off and coming for everyone's neck. This pain ain't gonna see the light of day. My shows are at night, call me vampire. Sinking my teeth into the mic, always a sacrifice, never a ritual. I'm a product of pain, the kind that be tragedy and magic, simultaneously loud and raucous, but they'll never hear me. They'll hashtag say my name, but won't know the destiny of my child. He'll need an encyclopedia for living cautiously as black. So this pain gonna spill out into audiences and leave you to clean up the mess. I'm a product of pain. This is shots fired. This is years of me drawing a blank and not knowing where the bullet wounds are. I'm finally a loose cannon, a noose unraveled, a praise before hallelujah, a woman before amen. I'm a product of pain. She had them raging lips, fire from her tongue. She quit with a blazing glare. Left them boys in the smoke. The sun don't touch her. She too hot, scorching, burnt from all the ways them dolls told her how to cook her soul. And nowadays, they say she's pretty for a dark. It's a compliment. Smothered in Sarah Barlin's hips. Miley Cyrus, call it a prop now. Black girl, be too permeated. You see us everywhere, but our mouths ain't got no filter. If you can't hold water, black girl, be in the itty bitty McKinney bikini showing out there, flinging us now. She got child support superpowers singing. I wish you were hymns. One of these days, black girl be so powerful. Her hair will stay pressed after being underwater. Her tongue too crispy, can't put no seasoning on that. She got flavor. Ain't that how the mulatto babies is made? Peach be so juicy, you gotta tell her hair ain't good. Condition them so the head ain't dry. Bleaching our skin so we can be white enough. Photoshopping our bodies so we can be photogenic enough. Post-traumatic syndrome got us forgetting about ourselves. We so potent, and NAACP had to remind us, black girl, free yourself. When you fly, tell them Fannie Lou Hamer sent you. Tell them you are your own queen. Tell them your brown sugar maple syrup can't be bought off shelves. Tell them dark don't mean dirty. Nappy don't mean nasty. Bold don't mean problematic. Loud don't mean ratchet. They say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. But in these times, the blacker the baby, the longer the noose. Our sons don't need sunscreen. They get their vitamin D from laying 4 hours face down on the ground. They want to keep us uneducated, file us in Section 8. Oh, they terrified when we start to assimilate, start talking like we got some sense, start walking like we learning we can run for president now, start protesting because we stand up for our rights. We have a purpose here. You can't take that away. You can't until our sons no more. You can't 16th Street Baptist Church burn our bodies no more. You can't walk up in the church and shoot us in prayer no more. You can't hang us in the jail cell and call it suicide. Black girl, you are brick, you are mortar, you are design, more than just measurement. You are ceiling. Raise your head. This black girl ain't got no blues tonight. You be you in your blue hue, beautiful as you want to be. Dark eyes, thick thighs. We don't need to apologize. Thank you.
Ooh, ooh. My goodness, one more time for MasterPiece. Take a seat. My God,
Thank you so much for having me today.
That was awesome, man. Definitely wanted to make sure that I reached out and brought you on. You were definitely phenomenal. During our mocktails meeting, that's my first time hearing about you, but
Yeah.
You killed it. Yeah,
Thank
definitely
you.
representing for the women.
Thank you.
I want to get to my first question is, what makes spoken word such a powerful form of storytelling? The reason why I asked this is because, like I mentioned, saw you for the first time at my Skills in Music, and my first thought was like, okay, she's a singer. And then when I heard you speak, I was like, okay, yeah, she's confident, she has swag, she has a way with words, she has dope personality, she has all these different elements in who she is. And so for you, those that are watching and listening, what makes spoken word such a powerful form of storytelling?
Such a powerful form. I think it really gives us the ability to express ourselves in ways that we don't think are possible. And I know for me growing up, that was my outlet.
Yeah.
And because of the structure and the different formats of being able to write creatively, I think that it's so important that we find our voice.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, poetry becomes that voice for those who can't express themselves in that way.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it so powerful, is that we are able to express ourselves with language and linguistics that somehow compute, whether you're an avid reader or what, somehow those emotions permeate through people. And when people hear how just a regular sentence can be so poetically beautiful, I think that resonates even more when people hear a sentence and they're like, oh, wow, but they know exactly what they're feeling.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah. Well said. I want to kind of go back a little bit. Where did this inspiration, I guess, come from? Was it family? Was it friends? Was it just you writing and trying to figure out some deal? Where did this inspiration?
So it really started with hip hop.
Okay.
It started with hip hop.
Yeah.
My first like introduction to just kind of even rhyme and words being put together was Redman. That's so weird. Redman and Rakim. I was off to a good start. But like I was like, oh, this is amazing. And Rakim is like a great storyteller,
yes, he is.
Master of word. I mean, even to this day, like timeless just lyrics. And I'm like, but the way he's doing this is so powerful and amazing. Like, how do I do this? But it's to the music, and I don't know how to write these words to the music. I don't know how to do all that. So I knew that I had all of these feelings of frustration and feelings of love and things that I knew I wanted to express. And I used to read a lot when I was a teenager. So I was like, this is amazing. So I knew how to structure and put my words together, but I didn't know it was something that was a thing. Like it was actual poetry. I just thought it was rap. And so I was like, I don't know how to make this into a song. I don't know how to do this. So when I read a book from Nikki Giovanni,
yes, we honored her. Last year.
Then I said, oh, this is how it is. And so that's when I knew, oh, okay, so these don't have to be songs. I can actually write this in a format that does not have to be rhythmic. And so that's what it's just me reading a lot of books and reading a lot of stories, and the I used to always envision like what the movie or the scene would look like when I'm reading. And so I was like, I just knew that that's what I wanted to do and how I wanted to convey and express myself. So that's how I started.
That's good. It's funny you say that. I remember interviewing.
Long time ago.
No. I remember having my bishop on last year. He talked about the power of reading. You read certain books, it kind of takes you on this vacation. It can take you to Africa, it can take you to Japan, it can take you to Korea, it can take you to Chicago, whatever it is. And having the ability to not only read the sentence, but have the visionary imagination, play with words and so. Now that's powerful.
It's so. I mean, to be a good writer means to also be a good reader. So, like you can always tell who is. You can tell the difference from who reads and who doesn't when it comes to poetry. So make sure you read. Okay.
Yes. Make sure you read.
Make sure you read. Read. I always tell my mentees that you become a better writer when you become a better reader.
Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to go back just a little bit further. So normally it was a little different, but I normally kick off the show with allowing our guests to kind of walk us through their childhood, their upbringing, you know, because I believe that plays a pivotal role in who we are and our makeup. So just take the time, MasterPiece, to kind of walk us through how you were raised.
How I was raised. I had a very interesting childhood. I grew up in an African home. My family is from Ghana, West Africa. So I kind of had the dichotomy of growing up in an African home, living in a very rural suburban area, Plano, Texas, which was up north. So back in the 80s, it was like very rural, it was very country. And growing up around, predominantly, white people, if you will, but I don't know what the political correct term is.
Yes.
Europeans, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of all the way up until I was in middle school. That was kind of, I did not know what rap was or hip hop. I didn't listen to it. I just listened to pop, R&B, and country music. And it was only until I turned 12 before I heard, my brother introduced me to actual hip hop. So I was kind of shielded from a lot of things. My parents my dad was very strict. My mom was my biggest cheerleader. She actually was the one that put me on stage at the age of 6, and I was dancing to Nancy Hammer. And that was when I knew she knew that I just came alive on stage, because I'm a very shy. A lot of people don't believe me, but I'm really shy. I've always been extremely shy. But like when I get on stage, people are like, they're like, whoa, wait, where does this come from? But they just, all of my friends, when they hang around me, I'm very just kind of chill, laid back. I'm not just out there like that. So I grew up just kind of very overly protective in this little bubble of mine, with my little friend. My best friend was Allison. And just kind of in this suburban kind of atmosphere. I was the only Black girl. It was me and another Black girl in the entire school. So like you can just imagine, and then having to come home to the African aesthetic. Like it was just very interesting growing up that way. You know what I mean? But I'm very grateful for it, because it's shaped me to be the woman that I am now. And my parents they've had their interesting relationship, but they've been the backbone of who I am and was. And those experiences that I have had with them really shaped me to become the writer that I am.
Wow.
And so whether it's good or bad, you'll find out. But I truly am so grateful and have been so blessed to have a family that raised us with a very strong sense of just the world. I started traveling when I was about 7, and so I really just grew up in a very humble type of environment. Appreciating different cultures and languages.
Yeah. I think that's very important, especially when you are on different stages and traveling the world. I think it's good to know diversities of people, that we can understand their culture, their background, things like that, and build relationships. And going back to your point, being 6 on stage, I kind of have a similar background. So I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
And so I discovered my ability to dance, which is my passion. In high school, I was that guy that was calling for all the pep rallies and the talent shows.
Yeah.
And so that's when I kind of got the feeling, okay, I have a gift, and I need to spend time with it and cultivate it and bring it up. And so fast forward now, man, still doing it. I've done hip hop classes. I've done things in ministry, and so I'm grateful, man, that my parents stayed on me with that. Even my pops, he always shared stories with me back when he went to Trimble Tech. Him and his brother, being the dance group in high school, and so it just kind of fell in line. And so, and also going back to your point, you mentioned being this person who's shy, standoffish, but what you get on stage is a completely different person.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the switch just comes on. You on stage, it just happens.
I'm not sure. I don't even know where that comes from.
Yeah.
But I just know. I just know people are like, hey, you're not. Who's on the stage? And that my people are like, when it comes to like dating and stuff like that, people are like, so how do you? How does MasterPiece, engage with somebody? I'm like, I run. I run. I make eye contact and then I run. Like I'm so horrible. But no. And I also have to mention that sports was a big part of my childhood.
I love sports.
I played soccer and basketball. That's a huge part of my childhood.
Yeah.
So I'm very competitive. Very, very athletic. Yeah. And I don't. Me and my brother, we go at it. I still have yet to be in basketball, but I'm coming.
So you coming?
I'm coming.
That's hilarious. That's funny. Going back to as I was studying your bio, doing my research, learning more about who you are and your journey. So you've been performing for more than 25 years, correct? what keeps you motivated after all these years? What keeps the battery in the back of MasterPiece, knowing that you've been doing this for so long? And the reason why I ask this question is because I heard a quote from motivational speaker Eric Thomas, and he was talking about an alligator. And when an alligator eats a meal and it gets full, it gets satisfied, it gets comfortable where it is. And he was sharing that, the students that mentoring them, sharing them how sometimes we become comfortable when it takes a little bit of success.
Yeah.
We settle.
Yeah.
And so for you, knowing that you've been through this journey over 25 years, what keeps the battery in the back?
Purpose, legacy, and passion. So
Passion,
I think that the work of an artist is never done. It just evolves. And I think for me, the most important thing is I'm always growing. And so times are always changing. There's always something new to talk about. There's always an experience that I get to express myself about. Or there's somebody around me, and there's all kinds of inspiration. So just knowing that I have the impact that I have on people, whether they see me, I've had people who've seen me perform from 17 years ago and be like, and they've never forgotten. And they said, I've been following you since then. And it's incredible, the way that this thing works as far as having an impact. But leaving a legacy and how people are going to remember me is so important. And I think just as artists, period, we are still studying Shakespeare and Ernest Hemingway and Jill Scott Heron and Maya Angelou. Like, I mean, words are the thing that people remember you by.
Yes.
Whenever somebody passes, we are always posting the quotes that they are saying. Absolutely. We have the John F. Kennedy quotes. We have Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. It's always words, right? And so that is the most important thing. What are you speaking that is going to lead, that's going to stay with people 100, 200, 300 years from now? Are they going to be studying your work and your body of work while you are alive? You might not see it while you're alive, but when you transition, that's the impact that you have. It sticks with people. And that is what keeps me motivated, keeps me driven, to just make sure that I continue my legacy and to just continue building that. It's so important.
Yeah, I agree. I remember a quote growing up, and as I'm older now, I understand that it's not true when you hear sticks and stones might break my bone, but words have never hurt me. And so as I got older and started to mature, I'm like, nah, it's not true, because words stick, like you said. So
words are powerful. And they can manifest and shape our entire world, depending on how it's being received and perceived, right? And so words can absolutely break you. I've had words that have absolutely just obliterated me, and I've had some words that have just uplifted me to the high heavens. So very important.
I want to pivot just a little bit. I kind of talked about it in your bio earlier. You gracing the stage with such legendary artists, man. People that we're familiar with, the Raheem Devons, the Tweets, the Johnny Deals, man. People that we love and know. And so for you, what lessons did you learn from working with such legendary artists throughout your career? What were those behind the scenes moments like?
Wow, it was incredible. And I think my favorite was Jamal Warner. That's my brother, and we lost him last year. But just he is somebody that had a true passion for art, true love for art. And so he's always kind of like my top. And I just, from him, learning that you control exactly what your destiny is going to be when it comes to your heart. Nobody can tell you how to move except for you and whatever higher power that you believe in. And I think that was the biggest thing that I learned from him. But I've worked with and met so many people. Faith Evans was absolutely amazing. Raheem Devon, he's a cool brother, love him. And a Jasmine Sullivan, you know, like you just Tank is he's a riot. But I think just being in spaces with these individuals just it made me realize the humanity of them.
Yeah, that's good.
They are humans, right? And they just have this extraordinary talent that puts them on a level that, you know, makes them a little bit more visible than the average poet. But other than that, they are human. They're regular people.
Yeah.
And it just, to me, I don't think I've met anyone who wasn't humble. They're all humble in their own right. You know what I mean? And so I think for me, I take that with me is to just remain humble and just know that I'm still human. I don't want anybody pushing me on some sort of you know what I mean? Like I'm still human. I have flaws and I make mistakes and things like that, and so do they. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest thing.
Yeah. No, that's definitely important. I mean, we see celebrities throughout the world and things that they're doing, and we intentionally try to put them on these pedestals, but not knowing at the end of the day they're human, and knowing their humanity. So I think that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Even for myself, man, I'm a guy who wears many hats, from a podcaster to a husband to a librarian to different things that I do, and making sure that I'm always remaining humble no matter what stage God puts me on. And so, staying in this vein for you, knowing that you've been doing this for so long, how do you keep your sanity and making sure that, you know, you reset, you take time to decompress? Because you've been all over the world, outside the country, inside. So what are the things that you're doing
to keep my mind together? If you don't read the comments, don't read no comments, don't respond to nobody unless you know them. Have discipline. Discipline with your time. Time management is super important. That's something I had to learn over the last 2 years because I do so much.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better with that too.
I think it's very important also to make sure that you find some time to be still.
Yes.
Be still and know where you're supposed to be. You have to listen to your body and have a relationship with whatever higher power to know exactly which direction you're going to go in. Because if you don't, you're going to end up being in survival. I was in survival mode for a very long time.
Wow.
And what that will do is have you scrambling and trying to do all kinds of things. And I'm grateful for those times, right? Because it really did elevate me into a realm, you know, that beyond what I could have ever imagined. But at the same time, I also had to learn revival mode, right? So I also had to learn to sit still and listen to my body, listen to my mind, get some rest, carve out that time to really just say, all right, put my phone down, stay off social media for some time, and use that time to be able to create, because you can't create when you've got too much noise.
Yes.
When you just instant gratification, you can't create. You just can't. It's very stifling, and I call it poem sedated when you're just full of poems but you can't get them out.
Wow.
And so like
Never heard that.
yeah, like it's so like I think it's so important, and just traveling, that's like my thing. But just learning to say, all right, I don't need to be everywhere all at once.
Yes.
Some things you just gotta let go and just focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. Because at the end of the day, that's the thing that you want to feed, right? What you feed is what's going to multiply.
Yes, absolutely.
And so if you can't expend yourself in so many areas, because at some point that one thing is going to get starved and it's not going to receive enough. So you have to at least pick 1 or 2 and say, I'm going to focus on these and I'm going to feed those. Once those start to bear fruit, I can move on to the next one.
That's good.
And I think that we get so caught up in that, and trying to just plant these seeds and not knowing how to nurture. And any fruit or vegetable that you plant takes years to mature. and you won't start seeing the fruit and the harvest from that and for years to come. So you have to have patience with yourself. And a lot of times in this new age of internet, we're here for instant gratification, right? And that when it comes to being a creative, that will work.
Yeah.
You have to learn to plant, water, nurture, and let it come out.
That's good. It's funny you say that because we think about, like you said, the world we live in, a society that we live in. A lot of people want microwave things. They want things quick, fast, and in a hurry. And you really don't get to see the fruit of what you're doing if you don't take the time to be still.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned, the power of words. I think we overlook the word no sometimes. Like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, no. I'm not gonna be able to do this. I appreciate the opportunity, but I can't do it. And so take time to get rest and recover and replenish. I think that's
but you won't know what to say no to if you don't take that time to align yourself.
Yeah.
In some way. Otherwise, you're just gonna be doing whatever. And next thing you know, you're gonna be, whoa, out. Okay. Well, I mean, so no was a complete sentence, and sometimes you don't need it to give an explanation.
I love it.
That boundary is there for you to be able to say, this does not serve the direction I'm trying to go.
Yes.
It does not align. And that's okay. That's okay. People will understand that.
Yeah,
that's okay. I'm a recovering people pleaser. So like I used to just, okay, yeah, it's okay. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, no. You gotta put some boundaries.
Yeah. I totally agree. I want to shift again.
Sure.
So I saw something that you did, I think it was maybe 2 years ago. I know you're a mentor as well. Talk about your experience being a part of the Men Impact Change anniversary gala and honor ceremony that you were, I think it was 2024, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Men Impact Change, I think it was.
Oh, Men Impact Change.
Yes.
Yes.
I was doing my digging. You was
researching.
I had to bring it up because I'm a big advocate of mentorship. I have guys, teenagers that are under me that I'm mentoring, trying to pour into around the right path. And so I thought that was very powerful to see. So kind of share that experience.
Shout out to Sonny and Joe and the entire Men Impact Change organization. I've been working with them for 10 years.
Wow.
And that was such a life-changing thing for me because I have a son, and it was so important for me to become the woman that he could feel safe with and know what love and safety looks like. And I think that it's extremely important for our young Black men and to experience that because I think a lot of the trauma and a lot of the disconnects that we are experiencing in our generation is we grew up with moms who were in survival, who didn't know any better, or who had absentee fathers. They had absentee fathers, and so therefore they only have a certain depiction of what a man is like. And so then they decided to raise men and women with whatever experience they had or lack thereof. And now we have a generation of confused, lost, and immature men and women because we just didn't have that example. We didn't have that structure. And so Men Impact Change was something that I was so passionate to be a part of and excited to be a part of because the experiences that I've had in my life when it came to relationships, my marriage, engagements and things like that, I knew that the cycle needed to be broken somehow. And if I experienced these things with the men that I've experienced with, then I also need to become the woman that can understand these things. And so Men Impact Change puts me in an environment to understand what goes through a man's mind, what he needs. The language that we women have and what we think men need is totally different from the language that men say and what they need. And the biggest thing that you can do is just listen. Listen and actually apply that, right? And so being in these rooms and understanding it and then watching my son grow up, I've been able to apply it and become and create this environment for him. And I said, okay, well, I also want to be the change that I want to see. And so becoming the woman that was difficult. It's very difficult because you grow up with women who are very male centered or who are very anti-patriarchy, right? Like just all of these things. And so girls are raised to be a certain way, and but boys are also raised to be a certain way and taught not to do this or express their emotions, blah 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 blah. And so most times it's a woman telling the boy to shut up or to not, to man up. And okay, what do you know about that? Right? And so I just wanted to make sure that I was the woman that men could feel safe with.
Wow.
But it started with my son. So.
Wow. How old is your son?
He's 15 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my guy right there. That is my guy right
awesome.
there. And I love our relationship. Is so beautiful. I just let him grow. I grow with him,
Yes, I love that.
Yes, I grow with him. So even though there may be things I don't like, there will never be a day where he does not come to me and express himself and say, hey, Mom, this is the issue that I had, and then I can say, I can take accountability, or I can explain to him why X, Y, and Z happened. There doesn't have to be this screaming match where you communicate healthy boundaries and everything.
Yes,
and I'm the first person that he comes to show his music, to tell me, whatever girl he's dealing with, like I created this environment for him. And so now he knows that, now whether that will translate when he goes off, to start his own family, I can only hope and pray that he takes that with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. Powerful. I definitely want to speak to that too. You mentioned creating a safe space for your son. I mean, you think about young boys that are coming up, they have so much bottled in, and it's hard for them to express it and get it out. I always like to use this term of not always being Superman. It's okay to be Clark Kent. It's okay to be human sometimes. You ain't got to put on Superman cape, 365 days in a year. It's okay to take that off and be vulnerable and be transparent. So that's one thing that I had to learn. So I grew up in a single parent home with my mother. And like you said earlier, she was in survival mode, trying to provide for me and my sister, working, and putting in all the hours and not really spending time with us and understanding emotional health and mental health. And so fast forward now, man, our relationship was great. Even with my sister, who's 2 years younger than me, she shared with me of how they've had moments to where she'll share with my mother and she'd be like, you really didn't create that space for me early on, but I'm glad we were able to rebuild that now. And my mom took accountability. She's like, forgive me for not giving you that space, when you were a child, but I'm here now. And so, that's great.
And isn't that a blessing to even be able to say that? Some people their parents don't make it that far to even get to that point. And I think it's so important as adults that we don't use our childhood as a crutch or an excuse for who we are now. We have to, at some point, you have to look at yourself and say, you know what, this is what I went through, but I can change it. I can change. I still have a responsibility to make sure that I'm accountable for who I'm becoming. Right? And I think that is so, so important. At some point in your adulthood, you have to let that go. You have to forgive. Even if your parents don't acknowledge the wrongdoing or whatever the case may be, you yourself have got to find a way to navigate that so that eventually that forgiveness will come back around full circle, like you said.
I love it.
Yeah, because eventually, but you have to change though. You have to be the one to identify your problems, and it's hard.
Definitely
if you ever
hard.
tried to change, it is hard. It is very difficult, but it can be done.
Yeah, definitely can be done. Staying in this mentorship space, I was asked this question recently. So out of this podcast, I run 2 other podcasts. And my shirt. Shout out to my brother Jordan, Spotlight Media Group. So question that we talked about was, what will be your definition of a mentor, a coach, and a role model? And so for me, when the question came up, mentorship for me will be a person that's with me forever, long lasting. When I'm in the valley, when I'm in a high place, when I'm in a low place, when I'm being celebrated, when I'm not being celebrated. Like mentorship is long lasting. Like you with me throughout or die.
Yeah.
Coach for me would be a person that tackles a specific area. You think about somebody, I love sports. Think about somebody who plays basketball, a 3-point shooter. They have a specific coach, a shooting coach that pours into, that specific skill set that they have. And then role models for me would be somebody that I can pull different things from. Okay, I see something that MasterPiece is doing, I can implement that. I see something that my supervisor reading is doing, I can implement that, and then put it in one pot. And so, but for you, knowing that you're in this space, how would you break down a mentor, coach, and role model?
These are good questions. I think a mentor is someone who has the ability to take your strengths and elevate them.
Yeah.
Okay, and to really get you to see what you can't see, and then guide you and mold you in your greatness.
I like that.
I think that's, to me, what a mentor is. A coach is someone who is helping you process the things that you're going through in life in general.
I like that.
Okay, so it's not so much as just focusing on the strength and the greatness of it, but also focusing on whatever weakness and trauma that you're going through. They're coaching you and giving you the tools necessary to guide you through these experiences.
That's awesome.
And then a role model is, to me, someone that you can see yourself becoming. Somebody that you can say, that is exactly the vision that I see myself in. This is somebody who I can, again, pull the resources from and say, when I think of a role model, I think of somebody who I can relate to. And somebody somebody who's in a position that is attainable for me to be able to set my future up.
I like that.
That's to me what a role model is.
Well said. Well said. Y'all heard it best. MasterPiece. Y'all heard it best. Well said. Well said. We have to get to this lovely body of work right here, man. I was definitely reading the summary on Amazon. I was like, my God, this is going to be powerful. And so, what was the inspiration behind the title Love Hates Me? And before you say that, when I first saw this, first and foremost, the facial expression matching the title. When I saw the facial expression, I was like, yeah, it matches the title. But when I see this title, man, a few words come to mind. We talked about the power of words throughout the show. I see rejection, I see isolation, I see abandonment, I see pain, I see hatred, just different things based on this title alone. But that's me. I'll let the author share.
That's it. That's it. Like okay. So there's a few aspects to it.
Right.
It is kind of a reflection of the successes and the failures of the relationships that I've had, whether it be with my father, the men that I dated, or with myself.
Right.
Right. And abandonment is something that I have had to deal with.
Right.
Pain, rejection, all of these things that you said. So hurt people. Whew. And a lot of times when you are experiencing harm, it is because there is a lack of love somewhere, whether it's from you, yourself, or somebody else. And I realized that I felt as though I didn't deserve the love that I was giving to other people. And so I would always remain in situations where I was trying to fix somebody because I felt validated through that.
Wow.
I felt like I needed to do the saving. But that got me nowhere. It was, I'm just hurting myself. I'm abandoning myself, trying to acquiesce and please somebody else. And so therefore, in my mind, all of these failures, I started to just say, well, love must hate me because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. But then consequently, the other person who is receiving my love also probably thinks that love hates them. And so that's why they are also not receiving it the way that, that I receiving what I'm giving. So it was kind of a cycle of, and so it just kind of really boiled down to just my mind thinking, you know what, I give up. I give up on everything. Love hates me. Okay, I'm not these imaginations and these fantasies that I have about love. Everything just hates me. And so I just said, you know what, this is actually so really powerful, because I don't know one person who hasn't ever felt that way. In a sense of like just giving up and just being like, you know what, I'm done. I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? And so that was this phase of my life. But it was also, it took me 2 years to write this book. It's a memoir with poems. And so everything that I have ever been through in my life, all the way up until 2 years ago, is in this book. Wow. It was extremely difficult to write, extremely difficult. But the thing is that a lot of people think because I'm MasterPiece that maybe I don't go through things and things like that. But no, that's not the case. That's not the case. This is all it right here, people. I don't post my personal life on social media or anything like that. But you can get the book and you can know everything. Yes. I'll take you everything right here. You know what I'm saying? So, there's 3 volumes to it. So the first one is grief, living grief. And so it talks about all the things that I had to grieve. Grieving people who are still alive, grieving myself, different versions of myself. Just a lot of grief. The second volume is desire, which is talking about all the fantasies and sexual fantasies that I have and things like that. And then the third volume is glory, which is my walk with God and my spiritual relationship and how I came to be the woman that I am now. And so I've been through a lot, and this is a proud body of work. But this chapter was closed for me. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for healing and for growth. But it's still something that is a part of me, and that's why it says poems and letters.
Yeah. Knowing you mentioned earlier how it became very difficult trying to write it and put it together, which I'm pretty sure because those emotions are coming back up, those memories are coming back. I'm pretty sure it's very, very tough for you. There's this quote I had Tarrant County Commissioner Roger Miles on the show here recently, and the quote that he said was, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." And so for you, knowing that it was tough, trying to put this together, who was in your corner? Who was the support system that was helping you carry the load while you were putting this together? Okay, I'll take that.
That's it. I don't. There wasn't anybody that was. I wrote this in the wee hours of the morning, crying during the day.
All of it.
I did. Me and the Lord.
I'm with it, fam.
We just we powered through, man. Yeah. And it was difficult, but it was very therapeutic because I had to really process all of the things that made the woman that I had to ask myself, why did I put myself through these things? And I think that's so difficult when you have to look in the mirror and be like, what was it about me? Even though I'm explaining some of these things and I'm writing some of these things out, I'm like, what part of me was lacking to allow these things to happen? Mm-hmm. And I think when you get to that point in your journey in your life, I always tell people when they're telling me things that happen and they're telling me about a situation, I'm a part of the Arts Equity Collective. We have something called the Survivors Guide every year. And so, people will tell me about certain situations and I'm okay, well, sorry you went through that, but I want to focus on you. What about you allowed that to happen? And I think that's the part that a lot of times, that is the hardest part of grief, is knowing that you have to put to rest the version of you that allowed those things to happen. And that is a very difficult thing to do. Very, very. But and so some people just rather just remain the same. Oh well, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'll just keep on going. But no, and that's why you need therapy. That's why you need some sort of relationship of some sort. Like you have to process through all of these things. But I promise you, if it wasn't for my relationship with God, I'm not trying to be, but I just don't think I would have made it through. I really just don't think I would have made it through. Yeah.
Same here. Probably from 2017 up until 2023, man, I lost at least 8 to 9 people back to back from all my grandparents. One of my childhood friends, who I was dancing buddies, from spiritual mentors, just back to back. And like you said, it was the Lord, man, who really, really kept it, boy. I could have literally, like, it's like, boy, lost my mind. So to your point, man, me too, being a believer, man, the Lord really kept the boy. And you mentioned earlier, grief isn't just, losing something or losing someone who's had died, but also losing things that are still alive.
Yes.
And so that was another aspect of my life too. So in April 2023, I had foot surgery on my foot. I had to create an arc because I didn't have one. So going through that process, having to operate on one foot, my wife trying to get me in and out the shower and load on her, and having other people help me. That was a dark and tough time for me, fam, trying to get through that. And so, but I was so grateful for my support system, helping me get through that, taking me to appointments, bringing food, bringing toiletries, calling me, checking on me, hey, you good? And then, having the ability to even put a shoe on. It took me at least 6 to 8 months to even be able to put a shoe on. And so the reason why I say this is because my art form is mime, M-I-M-E. And so it's basically, the ability to take a song and illustrate it through dance. Whether it's facial expression, body language, stuff like that, without even saying a word. I've been doing it over 10 years. And so when I was in that season, I was grieving the loss. I'm like, okay, Lord, will I ever be able to mime again? Will I ever be able to use my art form again and showcase it to the world? And so now you have a point, man. It's not just things that have died off, it's the things that you can still do.
That you said, and I've had to grieve people who are still alive my whole life. I've only had a handful of people I've been close with that I've actually passed on.
Yeah.
And grieving that grief was, to me, was a little bit easier than having to know that somebody still exists and that I've had to, because grief is just love with no place to go, right? And I think that, I think once you once you understand that, you start to look at life a little bit different. You know what I mean? And you really have to. There's no right or wrong way to grieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But what I will say is that there's a line in my poem: "You're stronger than you know. You just don't know it until something stronger than you shows up. You don't know what you're capable of until that thing hits you.
My God.
And so you didn't think that you would be able to, your foot. You didn't think you didn't know, but here you are, right? And now you've become a different version of yourself that you never thought you could be.
My God.
And so I think people need to understand when you're going through pain and you're going through a season and then you come out of that, if you take away the pain that was caused, you would lose the strength you gained. So everything that you're going through in life is for a reason. You have to choose whether you're going to become somebody better because of it or whether you're going to regress because of it.
Yeah. I want to add to that, rapper that I listened to, Andy Mineo, one of his songs early on in his walk, he talked about pain being a two-sided coin. Pain can be either you staying the same or either you making the changes to get better.
Right.
And so, like you mentioned, you either you're gonna grow and get better, or you're gonna become stagnant.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, just always think pain just means you're alive.
Yes.
That means it means you're alive.
It means exactly.
If you can't feel nothing, something is
something
dead.
is repeated.
Yeah. Okay.
100%, man. Yeah. For those who, I guess, have read your book so far or in the process of reading it, what do you hope readers take away from those intimate moments through your letters or poems? Let us all forms.
Yeah, don't ever abandon yourself for anybody or anything. Stay true to yourself. I think that is the main thing that you can take away from this, is that the many times that I have abandoned myself. And just understanding that it is very difficult to have a certain type of mindset and then have to change that. Right? It's very difficult. But this book will show you that despite all that I have been through, I'm still triumphant. I'm still successful. I'm still, still walking, still making this thing happen. This life thing happen. So I think that's the biggest thing, is the minute that you start to feel like you are abandoning yourself in a relationship, in a workplace, in your creativity, that should be a sign for you to pause and be like, okay, I think I'm straying too far away from who I feel like I am. Your body will tell you. Your body doesn't lie. The body does not lie. Pay attention to your body, okay? Because it will not lie. And everything in your purpose should give you ease. It should be a smooth process. You shouldn't be overly anxious and have all kinds of anxiety. You shouldn't be trying to force anything. Nothing. If it's not coming with ease, then it's not aligned with what you're trying to do. So a lot of times what we will do is we will try to make a square peg fit into around and that's how you know you are starting to abandon yourself, by trying to make something fit when it's not. And you will know, because you will feel it. It will feel hard. You will be stressed out. You're not going to be sleeping. You'll feel it. And that's how I knew that I needed to slow down, because I was doing too many things. And then the minute that I started letting things flow and stop trying to control everything, that's when ease started to happen. I started to get booked for shows, just like people just call me, just whatever. I didn't have to ask for anything. Just ease, just walking my purpose, just like that.
I love it. This is a great segue, MasterPiece. Walk us through the backstory of creating flow for love of words. That was a great segue.
Yes.
Walk us through, how did this come about? What you can take away from it, experiences. What has that been like?
Flow for Love of Words started in 2013.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed that. I wanted spoken word to be on the same level, and for us poets to be viewed the same way as we view Rihanna or Drake or Lil Wayne or, you know what I mean? Adele, things like that. I wanted us to be on that same playing field and get excited to see poets, the way that we go to concerts.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to do. That was my vision. And so I said, but right now, people think that they have this vision of poetry is quiet and snap, this and that, this or back then. And I was like, how do I change the landscape of that? So I said, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate all of the things that everybody loves, but I'm going to make poets the focal point. So we're going to have a DJ. Yeah. We're going to have live music. We're going to have comedians. We're going to have dancers. This is going to be a celebration of the arts. Yeah. But I'm going to put these poets as the feature. So now you're in this environment that you're familiar with.
That's a dope
and
concept.
Now you're going to sit down for 15 minutes and listen to this person's words. And then you're going to go back to dancing. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to sit down and you're going to listen to it. And that just changed the landscape of everything. And it did a number of things. What it did was it made poets step up, because now I'm booking quality talent.
Yes.
You can't come to flow if you ain't on it. Okay. Not only that, but then it's also making people get excited about the art form.
Yes.
I don't care who's featuring. I don't even know these poets, but I know that I'm gonna have a good time at this show.
Thanks.
And that's what I wanted. And then eventually, over time, people started getting familiar with poets. Now you have social media where poets are going viral, and now you're seeing we're getting more visible with this now. And so now people are coming to this show and they're just having a blast and having a great time, but they're also discovering the different levels of this art form.
Yes.
And so for 13 years, that's what it's been. And that's how I see it.
That was a dope concept, man.
Yeah.
I never would have imagined anything
Yeah.
like this. That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. Knowing that you can produce this for 13 years, I guess talk about some of the growth that you've seen from the beginning of starting Flow to up until now. What has that growth looked like?
It's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
It's been hard, but it's been amazing to see it go from, they had 25 people at ASO Rock Restaurant in Garland to, to the Iceman Performing Arts Center in Richardson, where it's, seats like 600 people, to turning it into a stage play, a theatrical play. Shout out to Locked and Loaded Slam Team. It's just taken on different forms, and the growth, and to see the respect and the admiration and the joy that it has brought people has been amazing. I have taken a lot of hits from it, but the reward is much greater than the challenge. I welcome all the challenges now, but it's been great seeing it grow from this little baby thing to now it's like this one of the biggest shows, and now it's international. So we travel the world now.
That's awesome.
Doing the show. So
that's dope. That's
yeah.
dope. MasterPiece is one thing to have quantity, but it's another thing to have quality.
For sure.
And so for you, what are those qualities that you look for in these poets you mentioned earlier? Hey, you coming on this platform, you got to bring it.
Yeah.
What are those characteristics that you look for in these poets?
I look for poets who truly care about themselves, their art, and their brand.
Yeah.
Poets who understand that you can't, putting in that work is essential. It's crucial. It's crucial to write, to read, to edit. It's crucial to market yourself, crucial to brand yourself. How are you carrying yourself outside of poetry spaces? How are you presenting yourself in professional arenas? Do you have a website? Do you have an EPK? Do you have, what does your professional presentation look like?
That's good.
When you go to, when you go to a concert and you see they've got shirts, merchandise, you go to the venue, they've got the lights and everything is all put together and organized. They've got a team of people. They've got their personality. Are you messy online? Are you, all of these things?
All those,
I'm looking at it, and how are you protecting and uplifting the platform? That is key. I don't like it when poets are doing the most and doing messy stuff and just hopping on a bandwagon because somebody said something, and I don't like any of that. I like professionalism. And I've only ran into a handful of poets who have that aura, that all of those things align. And that's what I'm looking for. And I think all poets should get to a level. Okay, it's one thing to go to an open mic, and then you got to get to a level. But now this is a profession. This is your life.
It's your life. Yeah.
So how are you going to navigate that? To me, So somebody coming to Flow and performing at Flow, she's done her due diligence. They somebody if they on this stage.
Exactly.
I'm not just putting anybody up there who's not ready.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
You got to be ready. Yeah. Poems memorized, choreographed, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all heard it. Hey, y'all heard it. She ain't playing.
Yeah.
Staying in this vein, how do you create an environment to where both new and seasoned poets feel welcome? And the reason why I asked it, because you might have newer poets who may be like, I lack the confidence, I don't know if people are going to receive me well, blah, blah, blah. And you might have people who are seasoned who might think, I've already arrived. You know, I don't need to keep working on my craft. I don't need to keep putting in the work. I don't need to keep getting better with my creativity. So how do you create an environment to where both and new in season poets come together?
I think it all depends on just their humanity and their personality.
Yeah.
I don't deal with anybody who doesn't want to grow. I can't. If you are in that space of I've arrived, I'm not even in that space, and I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm not even. There's always room to learn and to improve. So just making sure that I get to know people and understand where their mind is at. And then also to the poets who are up and coming, who lack the confidence and things like that. Just making sure that I listen to them and show them love. Everything you can criticize with love.
I agree.
You can give them grace, but you can also hold them accountable
At the same time.
Yeah. And so I tried my best to just kind of marry the two. You know what I'm saying? And just making sure that I surround myself with people who, if they are in the same environment, that I've already done my due diligence. I know who my friends are. I know who they are and what they mean to the younger poets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't bring younger poets who just can't, that they're not coachable.
We
you know what I'm saying?
It.
So you gotta be coachable.
Be
coachable. You know what I mean? And so it's important. Those things are important.
Yeah, I love that. I believe you have one coming up. I believe.
Yes.
13th anniversary.
Yes.
Yes. What is that? I guess share with listeners and viewers. What's the
There's
look
13-year anniversary of Flow Full Up of Words. That is Saturday, November 7th in Fort Worth at main occasions, events. Very limited seating. We're only selling 50 tickets, so make sure you get your tickets at flowfulupofwords.com. You can get your tickets. All the tickets come with a meal and a nice drink and everything. So just come, get your ticket, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I love it. Y'all heard it best. Y'all better be there.
Yeah.
I might pull up.
Yes, I got some special guests coming too. Got some really special guests coming. I'm excited.
That's dope.
Yeah.
All right, sis, we're gonna pivot again. We're gonna close the things. I think this is a great way to close. Only because I'm a guy who loves fashion as well. I get it from my parents. They were always those people in high school, people known for their fashion, from Polo to Tommy, all those things coming up. And so for you, talk about your love of fashion and the impact of your clothing brand, MasterPiece Boutique.
Fashion that's like my second passion, man. My mother was a seamstress when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And so I would always see her making all of these clothes. She would have fashion shows and have people come into the house and trying clothes on. And I just have always been into fashion. But I think it really hit me when I was in school and college at the University of Arizona. And I was starting to realize that there wasn't a lot of representation when it came to darker toned women in the fashion and cosmetic industry. And I knew that I wanted to kind of make a difference, on top of the fact that when I was coming up as a poet, most poets who identified as women weren't, for lack of a better word, they weren't into fashion like I was. But I was to just heels, dresses, hair, makeup, all kinds of stuff. And they just had never really seen nothing like that before. And so just to be a poet who was dope but also fashionable, that was just kind of like, that was like an oxymoron down there. And so, but my mother and I decided to collaborate because people would always ask me, where do you get the clothes from? I'm a designer as well. I draw, art is my thing. And so I would always design these things, and then she would make them, and then people would be like, where are these clothes coming from? And so that's how we started MasterPiece Boutique. We just said, let's put our two talents together. And then next thing you know, I just wanted to pay homage to my heritage, my West African heritage. And so MasterPiece Boutique, which is West African inspired clothing, specifically by me and my mother.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I was definitely doing my thing. I'm like, man, these pieces are dope.
Yeah.
It's vibrant.
Yeah.
It was lovely, man. I was
Yeah.
there some dope. Even saw some little kids. Or
Oh
something.
yeah, with everybody.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted everybody to have a way to connect with their ancestry somehow.
Yeah.
And leaving that legacy, knowing that I brought my people closer to home.
Yeah. I love it. Being in this fashion space, how important is self-expression through being comfortable in your own skin? The reason why I asked is because, I'm a guy who's short in stature, but I always try to make sure that I look good, feel good, smell good wherever I go. And so whether it's church, whether it's here, whether it's a gala, I always make sure that, I'm on top of my game and wearing things that's, comfortable and unique to me. I don't got to be like anyone else, And so for you, how important is self-expression through fashion?
Fashion is super, very important. To me, I always tell poets, I say the show starts when you walk in. So
I love it.
have yourself together. Present yourself in a way that people are going to be remembering you. If something were to happen to you, and that was the last day that you are here on earth, what are you going to be wearing? And how are people going to remember you?
I love it.
And that's, to me, it's important. It's an outward reflection of how you feel internally. So if you are showing up with your hair messed up, not cut, your nails dirty, clothes wrinkled, torn, ripped apart, whatever the case may be, shoes old and falling apart, what are you going through? To me, that's just me. Okay, some people that's they don't care about that. But to me, that expression is a reflection of where you are internally. And like I can always tell, to me, that if somebody is going through something, just because of how they're presenting themselves. Because when you don't care, okay, I don't know if you just don't want some stuff to go to Walmart, because that's exactly what you're doing, right? You just throwing some stuff on, right? So that's a reflection of your attitude, So it's important to me.
Well said. Well, this was great, MasterPiece.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your presence. I appreciate you gracing the stage here at the Florissant Public Library. Some dope pieces. Like I said, I definitely had to reach out, man, after hearing you, what Mike tells me. I'm like, man, she's a beast. I need to bring her over here.
And don't give it up, man, for Will, because this was such a good interview, because I truly appreciate people who take the time to research and find out about the person so that they can ask good questions. So
yeah,
I really appreciate
I love what I do, fam. I love what I do.
Yes.
Before we go, any closing remarks, anything you want to leave to the people, whatever's in your heart?
Yeah. Focus on the business and the money will come. But if you focus on the money, you lose the business. Take that with you.
My God, that's good. All right, y'all, we are done. This is Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People. I'm your host with the most, Willie Demon. And I always say we always had an extraordinary conversation. Thank you again, MasterPiece, for blessing us, man, with your presence. Also, those that are watching, do me a favor and go to our YouTube channel, Florissant Library District. Subscribe where you can find more content, more dope guests. We'll see y'all next time in these orange seats. Peace.
Bye.